localization industry now for more than 15 years. I started out as a translator and then quickly moved into project management and other management roles, focusing a lot on technology. I headed up translation services for a number of translation and localization companies in the San Francisco Bay Area and then in Utah. Started my own company and then decided to teach full-time at Miss. And while I've been doing that, I've still maintained a foot in the industry, working as a localization consultant for a number of other organizations, including LSPs and companies on the buyer side, and even universities who want to begin offering localization programs.
I first got my bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, and I got a bachelor's degree in I was a double major in Spanish and in English literature. And through that bachelor degree, I also traveled to Spain. So I did a study abroad in Spain for 5 months, which was fantastic. So I thought, okay, I like language. I like the interpreting aspect, the community interpreting aspect of what I'm doing. I also really, really like working with a bunch of different cultures. So I decided, okay, I'll go back and get my graduate degree in translation. So I went to the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. I got a Master of Arts in Language, Literature, and Translation.
Unfortunately, the Translation and Localization Management program did not exist when I was a student. But if it had, I would have loved to have been in this program. So because it didn't exist, I tried to do the next best thing. I got both a master's in translation and an MBA and took additional technology classes to supplement that, trying to create my own translation and localization management program.
After that, I took a role as a quality controller in a language service provider in the Milwaukee region. So I went from quality control to project management. And that's kind of how I got my way into the industry after my education. A skill that successful people have in common is the ability to collaborate, the ability to reiterate over processes, just go over processes over and over again until you see the results that you want to see. Maybe you implement different inefficiencies each time you're running the process. From the perspective of collaboration, I can say that from the perspective of collaboration, when I started my career, this was an area that I did not do well. And the stakeholder engagement was an area that I did not do well when I first started as a project manager, because I was very much, I was young, first of all. And so I definitely wanted to prove myself in the jobs that I was taking on. And so in that wanting to prove myself, I sometimes worked too independently, which meant that I wasn't delegating tasks, which meant that I was taking on much more work than I could actually handle, which became unsustainable and then affected my work, of course, and work relationships as well.
The most successful people who I've enjoyed working with, I've seen successful people that I don't enjoy working with. Who are more cutthroat, but those who I've really enjoyed working with have been the CEOs who are genuine networkers. They're looking to give and help others. It's not just all about themselves. But then something that I do want to emulate more that I've seen from some of the best CEOs and leaders in the industry is that they are fantastic communicators. They're very clear in their direction. They over-communicate to their teams in a way that makes everything much more clear. Now, that doesn't mean that they're always looking over their shoulders, trying to micromanage. It means that they're over-communicating a very clear direction and strategy, and then they're secure enough in what they've communicated that they can step back and let their teams carry out that strategy and direction on their own.
And so something that I would want students to understand about soft skills is you need to be able to collaborate. In being able to collaborate, I don't mean that you just go along with whatever decision everyone else is saying. You still need to voice your opinions and voice your perspective. And the reason that you need to do that is because when we're all working together with all of our diverse backgrounds and perspectives, we each see problems in different ways. And so when getting together with a group of people with the task of collaborating, we don't want to become so sort of ingrained that my way is the right way that we refuse to see any other possibilities. And collaboration is really an opportunity for us to learn from other people what their perspectives are and other solutions that could be implemented. I would get involved with the industry. I would get involved with professional organizations, even at the chapter level. So I got started with the American Translators Association through volunteer work I did for the Midwest Association of Translators and Interpreters, which is a chapter of the ATA. And I got one job out of a connection that I made through Mati. And then through the ATA, you've heard that I've gotten my job here. That's not to say that when you're going about networking, you should approach it as if you're expecting to receive a job for whatever time you're putting in. You should definitely approach networking and volunteer work as an opportunity for you to learn from all of these professionals that are already in the industry.
Bad networking is often summed up by a comic strip that I often show to students and others. Under the title, it's a comic strip by Doug Savage called Savage Chickens. And it's a simple one-panel cartoon that shows two chickens clearly at a networking mixer because they have drinks in their wings. And one chicken says to the other, what do you do for a living and how can I use you to my benefit? To which the other chicken replies, I'll give you vague details only so that you can't Google me and show up at my office with a resume. And the title of that is quote-unquote honest networking. When really that's just a cynical look at bad networking. Bad networking is when we try to make networking all about ourselves. Good networking, genuine networking, is when we make it about others, when we make it about showing genuine interest in others.
You should never go up to a potential employer or a potential professional that works at an organization you want to work at and say, hi, can you give me a reference so I can have this job? If they haven't met you before, they don't want to give you a reference for the job. So never approach somebody where your first thing that you're saying to them is, hey, what can you do for me? Rather, the first, probably not only the first, but the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th thing you should do is say, what can I do for you? You've been in this industry for a long time. You're active in this organization. No doubt that takes a lot of your time. What can I help you with? And then not only do you get the benefit of a long-term relationship with that person because you've just offered to help them with a project that in an organization that if they're involved, they feel strongly about. So you get to work alongside this professional rather than saying, okay, I want to meet this person one time and then I want to tell them I want a job and then they're going to give me the job and then I'm never going to, that's not how it works. You have to develop relationships. And so I would say, put in the work of developing relationships with professionals and don't look at that professional development as, again, what you can get out of it. Look at what you can put into it.
It also removes a lot of the pressure. If you're just looking for ways to help others, you don't tend to feel as nervous and stressing and wondering, oh, what am I going to say about myself or how am I going to make myself look good? It's how can I help? There's just so much less pressure in a situation like that. Whether you're looking to help somebody by answering a question of theirs or helping them find a solution to their problems or helping them to connect with somebody else. There are a lot of different ways to help others in person or online. And I know that I've had a lot of examples of that in this very friendly industry. And it took me a while to realize it and learn from their example, but I'm glad I finally started to. And I think that this is a very good, positive, friendly industry in general. And I think if we have even more students and others starting out in the industry learn about genuine networking and language services, it'll only get better.